Let's call the meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Welcome everybody this morning. We had to move the meeting upstairs, which is fine. Be nice if we could do that every meeting. Have this big a crowd. We appreciate you coming. Got a lot of guests here today. Kanita Roy is representing the 1st District Highway Office. Glad to have you, Kanita. Did you bring any checks? That's what I want to know.
Sorry about that,
Oh,
Judge.
okay. No checks. All right. Just checking. We are going to be meeting with the Highway Department about our plans for the roads in Marshall County in the next few days, state roads, what we consider to be top priority coming up for the next year. So we'll keep everybody informed as to that. We want to express our sympathy to our county attorney, Jeff Edwards, Jeff's father, who worked for the county for many years as our assistant county road superintendent, served on the board of directors of the Marshall County Refuse Board, passed away. His funeral was yesterday. Jeff is not here this morning. We certainly understand that. We have with us Lisa Carter, one of our assistant county attorneys, who will be sitting in today for Jeff. Appreciate Lisa coming at the last minute.
Thank you, Judge.
Let's move into our agenda. Our guest today, Mr. Brian Kutzinger. Brian is our director of the Marshall County Ambulance Service. And so, Brian, I'll give you the floor. This is your first time to address the court,
It is my first time to address the court. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Brian Kutzinger. I'm the new director of the Ambulance Service. I've worked there for 9 years. I started off as an EMT, from EMT to paramedic, and then paramedic supervisor to now director. So I've kind of worked in every capacity that you can at the Ambulance Service. Come before the court today to kind of inform the court that we're in the process of the beginning stages of buying a new ambulance. We have our bid packet put together with our bid specifications that we require for our new ambulance. And with the permission of the court, we'd like to proceed with running an ad in the paper to begin that process. This year, as opposed to previous years, we're actually going to have to buy an ambulance, buy a brand new ambulance as opposed to remounting an ambulance. The reason being is that the manufacturer of the ambulance that we have now that we're replacing, no ambulance manufacturer or remount company will remount them. We've talked to a few companies and there's just nobody out there that'll touch them. So this year it's going to be a little more expensive as opposed to previous years due to that reason. So with that being said, with permission of the court, I would like to proceed with running an ad in the paper and getting that process started.
Brian, one question. Are we going to trade anything in, or just an outright buy? Or are you going to keep the other one as backup? Or
it's going to be an outright buy because typically in the past, trade-ins, they do not give us very much money for trade-ins. And usually, a lot of times what we've done is we've had agencies within the county, whether it be like the rescue squad, a fire department, we will kind of move that ambulance to their department. And this year we've had expressed interest from the coroner's office for the ambulance that we're getting rid of this year. They've expressed interest in it and wanting it for their department. Oh, okay. So we've kind of looked at proceeding with that route as far as getting rid of the old ambulance.
So we're looking at outright buy.
Yes, yes.
I know generally we have not gotten very good
no, trade-in values on used ambulances is very, very low.
All right, you've heard the request of Brian. What he's asking the court to do is to allow him on behalf of the court and the ambulance service to advertise for a new ambulance. What's your pleasure?
Motion approved, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Brian, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome to stay, or if you need to get back to your business, that's okay too. We understand. All right. All right. Mr. Johnson, do you want me to read this letter first, or?
The mayor asked that I come and bring a letter from him. I think we're concerned about the way things are developing with respect to the appointment we made to the board, or the refuge board. It was confirmed on July the 19th, and unless there's some reason that we need to withdraw his nomination, designation as our representative, we're not aware of it, but we're concerned about the way things have been developing. You all don't want us to participate and comply with the law required. I mean, we can petition to withdraw from the city, but I think if you recall, back in the 80s when we talked about this closing the landfill, the cost of that was going to be astronomical for the city of New City. The EPA closure requirements were just something we couldn't go with. So just bear that in mind when we get to that stage.
I'll read the letter when we get to correspondence, okay? Bob Gifford?
Yes, Judge.
Bob?
Judge, the court, we are ending our energy efficiency grant for the county. I will have, the last thing we're doing is the automatic controls for this building here, but I'll have $800 left out of the $125,000. I have one other project that we can do that would be very beneficial to us, and it's down at the detention center, jail, all of those buildings together. It's part of their heating and cooling system, and that bid was for $4,375, of which I only have $800. So that would leave a difference of $3,575 that I would have to ask you all to authorize from somewhere to be able to complete this or even start it, period. So I want the court opportunity to tell me if you can do this or not.
Do we have any sort of a projected cost savings from that?
No, I do not. This was not part of the efficiency study that we had done. This is something that we just found as we went along. What happens is that there's waters that go through the cooling towers, and this water is never recycled. It just goes on out into the wastewater. This would allow this water to come back when it's feasible to use, and what I understand, it would cut their water bill tremendously, but I do not have a dollar on it.
How much time do you need for us to decide? I mean, do we need, you need to answer
I
now?
have to do this before the 27th of August. So it's something that I've got to initiate now to get it in place.
Can you give us a few minutes, like whenever we take a break, and just look at what their water bill is, so maybe we could see if maybe the cost savings would offset it that first year? And like, I don't have that off the top of my head.
Find that out.
Okay, that'd be great.
If you do that, Bob, then we can try to bring it back up, because you'd need to start it now,
Yes.
because our next meeting is not,
Will be too late.
be too late. Okay, all right, if you'd do that. Thank you, Bobby. All right. That's the only people that have asked to address the court this morning. Let's move into, yes, I'm sorry.
I do have something, but didn't get it on the agenda quick enough, but we just finished it up. I have the 2011 property tax settlement that we need to get approved by the fiscal court.
I'd like to have time to go over this.
You just want to look over this when we recess on the other issue, Judge?
I suppose, I mean, if we have time to go through all this, rather lengthy. I'm sure it's all good. I hadn't had a chance my first chance to look at it.
Jennifer and the state are together on this because the state's come in and done their thing, and
Yeah, I'm sure it's all fine. If y'all wanna take a little time to look it over? Okay, we'll do that and then we'll. All right, let's go into correspondence from Mediacom. The purpose of this letter is to inform you that on or about September the 1st, 2012, Mediacom will be implementing the following video rate adjustment. The old rate for family cable was $65.95. The new rate is $67.95 of $2. Additionally, All-Star Premium Movie Package will increase by $3. While we are always reluctant to raise video prices, the rapidly rising wholesale cost of television content is forcing our retail video prices higher and higher. The reality is that cable and satellite companies are constantly being pressured by the programmers we buy from to pay more for the channels we carry. I mean, this is just for information because after they deregulated the cable industry, we really have no say in what their rates are or when they increase them or anything else. So for information, their rates are going up $2 from $65.95 to $67.95, and for their other All-Star Premium Movie Package will go up by $3. And I guess that's, I don't know what all that entails, but anyway. From Mayor Carey, some members of the Fiscal Court, Marshall County Fiscal Court, I've been made aware that there is some concern over the city's appointment of Danny Newton to represent the interests of the citizens of Benton on the Refuse Disposal District Board. The council confirmed his appointment on July the 16th, and unless cause exists for him to be removed, he should be allowed to remain in that position until his term expires or he resigns and is replaced by a successor. If there are any concerns regarding actions Mr. Newton may have taken in the past while serving on the board, the city has not been made aware of same. We do not believe the citizens of Benton should be denied the right to designate a representative to the board. If the city is not permitted to designate its representative to the board, as it has in the past, it may petition the court for leave to withdraw from the district. If it does so, the citizens of Benton will have no further obligation to pay the refuse tax, and this is signed Mayor Steve Carey. He also sent a copy of the motion or the minutes of the City Council meeting of the 16th, July the 16th meeting. The Refuse Board is here today. The court has asked in the past that the Refuse Board appear, and they are here, so if there's any questions.
We can't talk to them today, and you know that, Judge. Our counsel's not here. That was the first thing we had to do. Jeff Edwards told us that, no disrespect to Lisa, but he said there's a conflict with himself and his staff. And we have to have counsel here before we can ask any questions or discuss this matter at all. We all know that. So we can't discuss it today.
All right, I was asked by the court to contact.
We haven't spoken to that, to anyone.
No, I've got a, y'all asked me to set up something. I've got a
And when is that been done?
conference call at 1 o'clock.
Okay, well, we
Jeff
can't discuss that till after 1 o'clock.
Jeff asked that I also contact the law firm of Denton and Paducah, which I did. I've got them set for a conference call at 1:45. And of course, we can reconvene the court after that.
I mean, I agree in that the board members have rights. we have to be careful about what we say without counsel, obviously. I mean, I'm a prime example of that. We're already in a lawsuit regarding a different issue, and I want to make sure that we don't infringe on anybody's rights and that we're cautioned as to what we can and can't do to proceed.
All right.
In terms of the
Yeah.
city letter, though,
Excuse me. Yes, sir.
The allegations that's been made against the 109 taxing district, we've not made no allegations against the commissioners. And we have a right to speak.
You can speak all you want to for my part, but we can't say a word because we have no counsel
I
here
don't care
today.
whether you say a word or not, you done said enough. It's our turn.
I have a right to speak too,
So do I.
and I did.
Well, it's my turn.
Okay. Judge, I make a motion to continue with our agenda.
All right, I've got refuse district on the agenda down in old business, so.
We can't discuss refuse district today.
All right, you've received the minutes of the July 24th meeting. Any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
I have none.
Motion approved, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. FEMA grant. We talked at the last meeting and y'all wanted time to think about that, whether or not we wanted to involve the court in that. Melissa, is she here?
She's out today, but
She's-
Andy and I are prepared to talk to you all about that.
Do you have the?
We do have some updated numbers.
Should
All
we
right.
look at those maybe in
In executive session, I would
closed session?
suggest.
All right. So, it's the court's opinion, we don't even talk about anything with the refuge board today. I mean, we've knocked this around a long time.
Well, at the last meeting we discussed, and Jeff Edwards told us to seek counsel until we had that to not discuss anything, so we need to call someone and
I think everybody needs to hear what they have to say. As you said, Judge, we've been talking about this since I've been elected. That's a year and a half, and I'm glad to see that the refuse board is here today. But this is really bad timing because we sit here unrepresented. And we haven't had that issue until recently when Jeff recused. So we've had a year worth of being represented and an opportunity to come in and speak while these discussions were being had. But today we're not represented, and that makes it difficult because your statements, obviously, I'm very interested to hear them, and that's what we've been asking for. However, we sit here unrepresented today, and I'm assuming everybody knew that. I mean, we had a meeting last Wednesday about this issue.
Your Honor, it doesn't seem like that there's been a delay, that Mr. Edwards has provided you information, and you've got conferences today scheduled to talk with other counsel. So it doesn't appear that the court has had a delay in getting counsel. You've been diligent in trying to do so.
We have. This is our first meeting since we've had the opportunities for the judge to make an appointment. We have to do that in session where we can all conference call before we make the decision to hire anyone, and there's just a procedure to follow to acquire that counsel.
Judge Miller,
Yes.
my name is Dennis Snow Jr. I represent the Refuge Board. I've gone back and reviewed the prior hearing, and there was an allegation by Commissioner Anderson that there was 3 or 4 acts of defiance on the part of the Refuge Board, and that's been put out in the public now, and I think it's appropriate for those allegations to be specified, because at this point, the only thing that we're aware of is this issue with the scrap metal and how that's been handled, and, you know, I think it's appropriate for us to go ahead and have those other issues identified today.
I think it is too, under council direction. See, we had the direction of council prior to Jeff, even though Jeff wasn't officially acting as counsel, he was acting as counsel to this court, but he has since stated that he can't be of counsel at all in any way. And then that puts us in a position, because then we become in a situation where we're acting on our own. And I don't know that KCO would view that very well if they were in a situation to litigate for us.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, respectfully, Commissioner, y'all have already addressed it in this court without giving any kind of specificity to what the allegations are against the refuge.
Well, I mean, I know you're new coming in, but trust me when I say we've been very specific. We've been very specific and specific and specific. We've talked about this for more than a year. We've outlined and outlined and outlined, and the only reason that this has kind of come to where it is today is because several of the board members were up for reappointment. It's gone nowhere over the last year. We've expressed concern multiple times. So that's why we're here where we are today, is because we've got an issue of the reappointment. And if you would please just give us today, I don't even mind, I'm sure nobody would mind, to schedule a special session where these gentlemen have a right and have their opportunity to respond. But I would ask that we please be able to have counsel just to advise us.
Well, again, I understand that, but if you're telling me that it's already been presented in past meetings, then I don't see the problem with beyond. I mean, we agree that the scrap metal is one of the issues. Okay, then what? And there was an allegation at the last one that there was 3 or 4 acts of defiance. I don't see how it's inappropriate to just go ahead and identify those for us. And you're telling me that they've already been identified at prior hearings.
Concerns.
Yeah, just go ahead and let me know what those concerns are now, so I can address them with my clients.
Jeff
Judge,
said,
I recommend
I don't know
you all
what Jeff
proceed
said.
without counsel.
Jeff said no.
What now?
Jeff Edwards said no.
Well, I mean, we're not in it anymore, but my
Yeah.
recommendation is you don't proceed without counsel. This is serious matters. You have been diligent in trying to obtain counsel, and it's a delay for just the next meeting. And I just recommend you don't go forward without counsel, but that's up to the court.
I make a motion that we table discussion till we hire counsel.
Second.
You have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. What was that? Oh, okay. Any other old business? Yes, sir?
As a taxpayer, I'd like to know why, what is Miss Carter's conflict? Why is the taxpayer gonna have to go here and pay the attorney at $150, $200 an hour? So we got two, I understand Jill's position. What is Miss Carter?
She works for
Well,
him.
Ms. Carter, as an assistant county attorney, actually works for Jeff, as does Mr. Darnold. So a conflict could be a conflict. I'm not saying that Lisa or anybody else will be prejudiced in any way, but if there is an appearance of conflict. Now, who we hire...
We're all too ready to spend our money on attorneys.
Well, I understand that, and I've got, we pay 3 attorneys, but I understand also we want to be in full compliance. I don't want a hint of anything, and when we look at hiring somebody, I want to know who we hire, where they're from, what their role is in this. And I've got some questions on that as well, but that's another time. All right, let's move into new business. Castleberry and McGregor. We have a architect's bill for Minner Roofing Company. The balance to finish, and I guess this is to finish the entire contract, Emily?
I've not seen that bill.
This is contractor's application. Says balance to finish. Our payment $68,732.36 is recommended to be paid to Minner Roofing Company. Then the balance to finish will be $25,247. How close are they to finishing? Does anybody know? Are they finished?
They're starting to wrap it up. Hopefully they'll be done by the end of this week.
All right. All right. All right, what's your pleasure on the payment of architect's invoice number 4, contracts application payment number 2?
Emily, those funds are already allocated.
Well, it's a little complicated on account of they were allocated last fiscal year. And I actually have a check already written that has already been approved for the amount that they had said to finish the entire specified amount. So, I would actually like to talk to Minter Roofing and see if we could hold off on that payment if they're close to finishing and make one bulk payment. However, if that's not something that they're willing to do, I can talk to DLG about voiding that past fiscal year check and receipting it into income for this fiscal year to appropriate to that, but that does take a little bit of time to do.
So do you want our motion to be to table, or do you want a motion to approve based on their recommendation?
I think it would be appropriate to approve based on Emily's investigation as to whether or not
They're going to require that payment?
if we can get it all at once or do it,
Okay.
as they're asking here.
So I would make a motion.
Because it looks like the payment is 68,732.36, but then it says balance to finish 25,247. And
since they're almost finished, it looks like we'll probably have another payment due pretty
yeah,
soon.
and I'm hoping that's what that means, that'll be it.
So I would make a motion to pay the invoice based on Emily's recommendation.
Okay. You heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. From the Marshall County Conservation District, we have their annual financial report. They had receipts of $88,386.84. It goes into detail what their expenditures, their total receipts were $186,851.96. Their expenditures were $141,370.24. A balance on hand as of June 30th was $132,614.86. And this is from the Marshall County Conservation District. Dennis Henson, I believe, is the chairman of that board. Do I hear a motion to approve the annual financial report as presented by the Marshall County Conservation District?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. From the Department for Local Government, we have our 2012 assessment information. This is mainly, I guess, for the PVA, but they do send us copies. Emily, is there anything in there that needs to be pointed out?
We do use some of those numbers to base our tax rates
Tax
off
rate,
of.
okay,
You might point out the compensating rate
Okay.
for real property
a compensating rate,
on this private.
for real property is 10 cents. That's for the compensating rate. That was no increase. 4% increase was 10.4. And this is from Robert Brown, the state local finance officer. We'll use this when we get ready to set our tax rates. The sheriff and the PVA have asked that we try to set our tax rate by the 15th of September. Did I understand that correctly, Sheriff? By the 15th of September. So we've got a little time We will make copies of this so each member can look it over. This is what we get every year from DLG.
We do have our tax rates ready to approve.
And we do have our tax rates ready that we'll present. We've got to get all of our special districts. I don't think we have all them in yet.
But just our courts.
Just our courts, but the special districts have to get their information in as well. And the paper of record, the Tribune Courier. Marshall County Fiscal Court accepting bids for 17 school bus seats. Anyone requesting any additional information can contact the Marshall County Ambulance Service. Sealed bids will be accepted until 9 o'clock Tuesday, August 7th, and will be open the same day. The Fiscal Court reserves the right to reject any and all bids. This is from the Ambubus. We took the seats out of so that we will have the capability, if we have a nursing home fire or any mass disaster, that we can use that bus to transport or get people to safety. We did have one bid. And that's just for 2 seats. Melissa Combs bids $10 each, $20 for 2 of the seats. How many did you have?
17.
17?
Yeah.
Well, you've got 15 now. If they want to accept this bid. I have a motion to accept the bid for 2 seats, $10 each. Make her an offer about taking the rest of them.
Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Uniform bids. Emily, what is, we didn't advertise for uniform bids, did we?
Sorry, that would be me.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The uniform bids for the road department, refuse department are on a 3-year basis, and they will expire September 15th. So if you all want to continue to ask for a 3-year bid, we need to go ahead and get permission to advertise for those bids.
What about the satellite departments? I remember we talked about they're providing uniforms to some of our other areas. Do we need to add those, or do we need to?
If you all want to, we can add it and just get it in one big lump and keep them all together at the same time.
Remember we had the issue with them providing services at the judicial building and then at the shelter. Do we need to add them into that, or can we allow negotiations annually without a contract? See, they're trying to hold us to a contract that was never really a contract. Remember Jeff looked into that for us?
Was that Airmark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought he had informed them that.
He did, but they still billed us and we still had to pay it. So, what do you recommend? Do you suggest maybe letting them bid?
If they would like to come in with us, I think it would be good to let them know we're gonna bid. We're talking about the animal shelter?
There was the rug contract and towels at the shelter, and then rugs and some other items at the judicial building that they were holding us to that contract. But we didn't actually enter into a contract.
They used some items in this building as well.
Okay. So do we want to add all that? Or do you want to specify with them that those sorts of things are not going to be a part of the 3-year contract, just so that they know?
Well, I think we need to just keep it to uniforms, because I think we determined that we could buy, or we talked about this, and didn't we say we might buy from other vendors cheaper than what these people are doing?
Could we inform them at the meeting that if they do sell to anyone, that it will not be a part of this 3-year?
Yes, we make this uniform only, and let them know that we're not going into any contract
other than this?
Other than this.
Okay.
Judge, from what I remember, on this bid, it also included like shop towels and different items that were also used at the road department, refuse department. I think it included the rugs, so I mean, you all can specify whatever you want to in that bid because it will expire as of September 15th.
Russell, what do you use from them besides uniforms?
Shop towels and the rug.
So do you think you get a better price just shopping those, or?
I don't know about we might be good on the rugs, but I don't know about the shop towels.
Danny, we use shop towels out at the refuse department as well.
We do it at the Parks Department also,
Do
and the roads.
y'all think we need to do that separately or just with uniform?
Roads you could get by with probably buying them cheaper, but shop towels, I don't know if you could. I'm like Russell, I think we need to include those on it.
Include shop towels and not rugs? Y'all all right with that?
Are the uniforms specified as to what type they are?
Yes, from what I understand, some of them are short sleeve, long sleeve, different material. The pants are specified. I mean, it lines it out all on that. So it encompasses the winter uniforms and the summer uniforms also.
Okay.
And I think there was a coat on there or something, or a jacket or something.
I do have a slight concern that some of those items may be considered, we would need to look at those to see if they were considered taxable under the IRS guidelines, because they are really starting to look at things like that. And I would maybe approach your men as to whether they would be willing to pay tax on a uniform if it is deemed subject to it, or would they be?
You mean that's being considered like part of their compensation? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the IRS is put a value to that uniform, and that they want a uniform that is such as their sheriff's office uniform. That is a specific uniform for work, and they're not going to wear that out anywhere else. But the IRS is really looking at uniforms like blue jeans. Those are taxable. Things like that. Your shorts or your T-shirts that just maybe have the logo right here, something that you could wear out. The IRS deems those taxable. So whether the employees would rather wear a non-taxable work uniform or a taxable work uniform. But I think it is something that we're going to have to look at.
I'm sure their question would be, how much are you talking about?
Right.
Before you're going to ask them either way. They want to know a price.
Right. And I will see, and I would think that might be something that the bids should know whether that's a taxable uniform or a not taxable uniform. So maybe
they might have something that wouldn't qualify, maybe a different color or something.
Right. Maybe the T-shirts that are the bright yellow with the huge reflective stripes on them. I would think that maybe those are not taxable, because that's probably not something that you're going to wear out to eat. It may be helpful, I don't know if the IRS would honor it, but if you all would consider making a policy where the provided uniforms are not worn off duty, that might help as far as how they would be looked at them for tax purposes.
Can you get us some information on that?
Sheriff's office has
You all
to
have a
do.
policy?
We have policy in place, like what I'm wearing now. We have policy in place to where if we go to trainings or whatnot, they can be in this, and it's not to be worn outside of the duties of the office. Like talking about taxable uniforms, like plain clothes detectives, theirs is taxed because they've been deemed that they can wear that anywhere. So their income is taxed on their allotment for their clothes.
So the court might want to consider a policy.
Can you have that for us, Emily, at the next meeting so that we can decide whether or not we need to adopt a policy? Will that give us time to still go out to bid in a timely manner if we're able to review that?
If if we were able to bid, advertise for the bid, the next court meeting, that would put us a few days into being expired that first week of September. When we had the following court meeting, we could open the bids then.
September 15th is when the bid expires.
Expires? Okay, yeah, I think that would still get us in the timeline.
Or when the contract expires.
Okay. And we'll try to have those together by the next meeting of the court and have those questions answered.
Yes.
All right. All right. Terry and I looked at with Russell and other members of the road department, a new total patcher. This is a blacktop patching machine that we use, I guess, every day. We had a representative there demonstrating what it would cost. We looked in, or had the Kentucky Association of Counties through their leasing trust program to see what kind of rate we could get on a lease. Was it a 3-year lease, Russell?
There's different options there.
Okay. The 3-year at 4.55% is an annual payment of $24,720 yearly payment. The 5-year at 4.55% is $15,505. Now that's for the variable rate. The fixed rate for the same amount of time, the 3-year, is 3.56 interest. That payment is $24,354.51 a year, and for 5 years at 3.60 is $15,143.64. Now this is no underwriting cost, no counsel cost. This is through KCO. Terry, you saw the machine. What do you think? I mean, ours is just about had it. We use it.
It's a lot of hours on it.
A lot of hours on it. He did tell us, what did Cliff tell us?
Said the life on about 10,000 hours, and ours has got close to 9.
Yeah. But on a trade-in, what did he say? He'd try to sell ours for us, or what?
He would allow us 5,000 for ours. One of them quotes there is with the trade-in, the other one's without.
I've just got the KCO. I don't have Cliff's. I've just got the KCO.
Well, that was the figures that I could give them to figure them. 64.2 was with trade-in, and 69.2 was to buy outright.
Oh, but that's not on that.
That's all to buy it outright.
Huh?
That's at 69 too, so that's to buy it outright.
Yeah.
There may be another page.
That's for the total buy, though. That's
Yes.
not for a
Yes.
trade-in.
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess what we're asking the court is, would you like to enter into this leasing arrangement to get this piece of equipment for the road department?
Is that something that, I know we have some equipment budgeted, Judge, is that something that we've got, or we could wait till next fiscal year, or where are we at?
Well, we didn't budget for this particular piece of equipment. However, at a yearly payment of $15,143.64, I think we could make it work within the road department budget, could we not? Or could we? I'll have to ask Emily that.
I mean, we
budgeted for
$150,000 for equipment.
Right.
And depending on how you all how it's decided to divvy that out.
What
is up
else
to you all.
do you have, Russell, that you're gonna need out of the 150? What else are you gonna,
We're looking at some mowers and a couple of pickups.
what could you get by, if we did this with the patcher, could you get by with the remaining amount, kind of staggering maybe some of the other things that you need? You think so? And then maybe we could look at helping.
We had talked about pushing the mowers, I think, but in order to stagger them just a little bit more, instead of having so many new ones
Running out at the same time.
running out at the same time. I don't know if we should be able to get by with those 4 others that we've got left in a spare, I would think, at least a year, and then that'll give us a little bit of separation between the 2 new ones we've got now and the next ones we purchase.
Does that work for
Does that
you?
work, Russell? Right. You look sad.
The mowers that we'd be getting for this year would really be for next year.
Well, I mean, that's true. But you'd begin that purchase after the first of the year.
Plus, we will have 3 mowers we can trade in.
So can we get 1 mower?
You got 2 new ones and 2 tractors, right? You got them on the ground now,
Yes,
operating,
they're here.
all right? And you've got 4 others, right?
Actually got 5, don't we?
You got 1 spare. You got 4 operational, 1 spare, and 2 new ones on the ground. Now, what Bob and I,
Trade any in on these last 2 because it's getting right there close to the fiscal year end. We just need to go ahead and write the checks and everything. So,
they're paid for.
yes.
Yeah, the new ones are, yeah. We paid for them in the last fiscal year.
Plus, we've got 4 used ones that we're using, plus 3, say 3 spares now.
Well, that's what I was thinking, that we still had those other 2 mowers. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was meaning. We can't, surely we can, I thought we could work all those for an extra year and manage, that'd separate us by 2 years then. Every 2 years possibly being in a situation to get 2 more mowers and then 2 more years, 2 more. That's, I thought that's what we had talked about. That
Well, I
possibly
hated to
doing
trade
that.
everything out at once because you got them all wearing out at once. What we had talked about, Bob, is staggering out when we buy,
Right.
so that over a period of time, then when you trade out, as they get hours on them, you're not,
Well, that's,
Get them all at
that's what
once.
I was thinking we were gonna try to do.
yeah.
Well, then I'd make a motion that we allow them to, I guess they need to go to bid on it, do they, Judge?
No, this is a lease through the Kentucky Association of Counties Leasing Trust.
I'd just make a motion. Is there a certain direction that we need to advise them on in terms of, or are they just gonna be allowed to go whatever way they want to, 3 to 5 years? What do you recommend on the?
Well, your payments, it's about $9,000 difference on a 5 and a 3. And the fixed rate is a little better than your variable. So I would recommend that we go a 5-year or a 3-year, whatever the court decides, on a fixed rate.
You wanna spend a little bit more and go on the 3-year? Or would you rather? I mean, it's coming out of your equipment budget.
How long is this last patcher? How many years you had it on the road, Russell?
I believe it's 05.
05, I think,
Five,
right.
so
it's 7
We've
years.
been running it for about 7 years now.
So you think you'd be good on the 5-year? I'd make a motion that the road department be able to enter into the lease agreement at the 5-year term, fixed rate on the patcher.
All right, you've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Your Honor,
Yes.
The treasurer asked me about whether we had to bid that, and I told her to inquire. Keiko may have already bid their leases, and so you all wouldn't have to bid it locally, but if they haven't bid it, you all may have to consider bidding it because of the amount. So just want the treasurer or someone to check on that to see if that's a bid, something you have to bid.
Call Lonnie.
Okay, thank you.
Call Lonnie Campbell. I don't,
Keiko
Yeah.
may have already bid out their leases.
yeah, we'll check with Lonnie Campbell and find out, and with the Department of Local Government as well.
Thank you.
Tax rates, as we talked earlier, our compensating rate is 10 cents for real and 10.83 for tangible. Now this is, we have to return this by the 17th of August to be included in the county tax ordinance. This is to certify that the Marshall County Fiscal Court has set the tax rate for the year 2012, 10 cents property, tangible 10.83. This is the compensating rate as prescribed by the Kentucky Department of Finance Administration. Now this, we'll have to wait on our special districts to get all those in for the court's approval. This is for the rate that you set. What's your pleasure?
And this is the same one you talked to us about a minute ago, that there's
Yes.
no increase on?
Right.
And that's the same it has been?
For years.
The real is 10 cents. The tangible has actually gone down,
Tangible went down a little,
Point.
not a lot.
I believe, 0.36.
I make a
Maybe
motion
just
to
over
approve,
11.
Judge.
I have a motion to approve the tax rates. 10 cents real, 10.83 tangible. There's a second. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Sorry, Gold, I didn't hear you.
It's all right.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no.
I'm down here on the end.
Motion carries. My hearing's not real good. I'm old. Thank you, Mr. Gold.
Yeah, there's gonna be a few more. There'll be a,
Yeah.
this one will be, I think there's two more. This one sets, this one we've already proved this. This is reporting it to the
Alright.
state. And then these are the ones that we're setting on that one.
All right. We also have to set our aircraft, documented watercraft, and inventory in transit. Aircraft 11.2, documented watercraft 11.2, inventory in transit 11.2. I will need a motion on that.
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Probably dated that in the wrong place.
That's okay. That one there sets the motor vehicle tax rate.
All right. This is for the motor vehicle tax rate. Tax rate for 2012 was 11.2. We're recommending that the tax rate remain at 11.2. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. where did Andy go? Was he still here? Andy, you still here? Most, mentioned a moment ago, you wanted to go into executive session to talk about whether or not we want to go into an agreement on this, FEMA grant because it does require property acquisition. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss that with Andy and with, is she here?
Me.
Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay.
Make a motion, Judge.
I'm sorry.
Before you go into executive session, the court has sold property that used to own to the Hardin Conservation Club.
That is correct.
It was bid, and the Clodes bought it, and the county attorney's office has prepared the deed. We're requesting signatures. We'll get that recorded and that transaction completed.
All right, if you recall, the high bidder was the McLeod family, and Karen came in the other day, and before Karen and Earl, I wouldn't let them pay us. They were ready to pay us, and I said, well, let's wait till we get a deed prepared for my signature and yours. So Jeff has prepared a deed for my signature and the signature of Earl and Karen McLeod. This is on the property in Hardin. Their bid was $7,500. The court accepted the high bid, and I would ask now that you authorize me to sign on behalf of the county the deed transferring this property to Earl and Karen McLeod.
Make that motion, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion, Judge.
I have a motion. Second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Call the court back into regular session. We had talked about it the last meeting and met with Andy Lepisto of the PVA office in regard to the FEMA grant that would allow the demolition of certain properties and capping wells, removing septic tanks, and then it becoming a green space that could not be used for anything other than a park. And these are lots. They're not big enough to actually do a day-use park. And it was determined that the insurance companies had settled with most of these people. We were going to be out several $1,000s in front money, which we did not budget for. So, and I'll let the court address, say anything they want to say about it. I think it was our opinion that we not involve ourselves in this particular grant. Did I express it correctly, or?
I think so. I mean, we agreed last year to have Andy and everyone look into it
yes,
and explore what the cost would be, but it's several $100,000 total project cost, and I think we talked about, we just didn't see how we could do that. It has to be payable up front and in total. You get reimbursed somewhere along the way.
And Commissioner Anderson pointed out, and I agree with him, sometimes FEMA's 2 and 3 years in getting your reimbursement. So I would entertain a motion from the court that we do not participate in this particular grant.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Interfund transfers. Emily?
I need to transfer $500,000 from occupational tax administrator to general fund.
You've heard the request of the county treasurer for an interfund transfer of $500,000 from the occupational tax administrative fund to the general fund. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. You've had an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Motion
Motion
approved.
paid. Second.
Motion and second to pay the bills. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Any other business come before us? I'm sorry.
The sheriff's thing.
Oh, the sheriff's settlement, I'm sorry, well, have y'all had a chance, or are you gonna do that when we come back in this afternoon? I'm gonna.
It's already been, is it already been audited?
I think so, hadn't it, Kevin? It's been audited, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, everything has been audited.
I had a chance to look it over,
Everything looks,
I'm fine with it if it's been
Okay.
audited.
Emily had a chance to look it over and said everything looks good. So
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the 211 property tax settlement from Sheriff Kevin Byers.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion?
None.
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We'll need Tim to sign that, Kev. It's got a place there.
On there, yeah.
As a county,
Yeah.
yeah, as a
I
county
got
clerk.
2 copies, you care to sign the other one too? That
Oh,
way- that way-
are they both in here?
Should be. You got 2 copies, one somewhere.
I'm strumming as fast as I can, Sheriff.
No, it may
Was
be
it
underneath
stapled?
no, it's not stapled together, it should be
Well,
loose.
let's see. There you go.
There's the other one.
Oh,
There.
all right.
You want one?
Yeah, that way I can take it down to Tim, and we can fill all that, that way y'all got a copy and I've got a copy, and we don't have to.
So he
chase
keeps
each other
one?
down.
Okay,
I'll get him to sign out.
okay.
Okay, that's fine.
You want this one?
You need to date it too.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we made a motion, second, all that stuff.
Yeah, I did get a vote on that, did I not? All right. All right, we will come back into session. I would like to go into recess, and we will come back into session at 12:45. So I would need a motion to recess the meeting.
Motion's made by you.
Motion to go in recess, Judge.
I have a motion, is there a second?
I made the motion then. Second.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Ayes are getting weak. Motion carries. Motion, we're in recess till 12:45.